Welcome everyone to the 308th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's, I don't know, January 25th? No, someone check my calendar. That can't be right.
I swear,
Yeah,
it's too fast.
It's the 26th for Pixie.
It's got to be like September 2020 or something.
Anyway, as you can hear, we do have a rather silly cast with us. So starting... we're going to start off with Zai then. As you can hear, we got a Pixie's eye. Yes.
Pixie's eye.
I can be Pixie's eye. We can all be Pixie.
Hello, I'm Zai. I'm from the UK. Alright, now, Zai, you need to try to do an Australian accent, please.
Hi there. I'm Pix. Welcome to the stream.
No notes. Perfect.
I do sometimes slip into Australian. I have too many Australian friends.
And there's Ali.
Hi. I'm accentless American. Hi.
You have an accent because you're American.
Fair.
And there's a Vex.
Hi, I also have the not cool American accent.
Hell yeah.
Everyone thinks their accent is like the most standard, boring, nothing accent. Like, I absolutely feel that way. I have like the most nothing accent in England possible. And then everyone I talk to online is like, no, your accent is so cute. I'm like, what accent?
We have too much land to compete with. There's too many American sounds.
That's
and
fair.
we have a living dead.
Zombie.
Zombie.
I come from the land down under, but only because it's underground.
6 feet down under.
Brilliant.
The land down under. If you flip the globe upside down in the cycle,
Yeah. Because it's really just flat, right?
yeah,
Anyway.
Oh no.
As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any art you'd like to submit, please feel free to submit. I'm not sure who I'm talking to because you folks are the only people watching this and currently on the stream together. But hey, maybe someone's going to watch this on YouTube.
possible.
In 20 years, when we're a global phenomenon, people will watch back at this episode and be like, oh man, they're cool people. What the hell?
What the hell? Why'd we cancel them? Why'd we burn them at the stake?
Multiple reasons. I believe figure one is right there. Just
Creation of self-driving ponies.
those
Oh
are
yeah,
dangerous.
that too.
This is such an ugly color. There we go. The yellow green. It's not a good color.
Yeah. I mean, it has its places, but, yeah.
Let's start off with the pictures that we have this week.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we have this first one submitted by a drawing owl. One. Attempted a more rendered piece with colors. Please let me know what can be improved. Does the light from the candles in moonlight look all right?
I gotta say, whoa. Like, from the last pieces you've submitted to us, this kind of step, this, like, experimentation and pushing yourself to try this, wow, this is really awesome to see.
Like, super gorgeous.
So, the first thing that my eyes go to is this specific like corner right here, because it just feels too soft for everything. If you look at like how far everything is from the camera, this area, these areas are all kind of the similar sort of distance away from the camera. So what I would do is just tighten that up just a little bit. It doesn't need to be much, but just like making the edge a little bit less smoothed out kind of de-emphasizes it as a place of sort of contrast. But yeah, good job. This looks really interesting.
So, to answer your question about the lighting from the candles and moonlight, I would say individually they're a very good start to this. We're definitely getting a lot of interesting definition, and the way you've done your two different shadows actually works. The problem I'm seeing here is the candles don't appear to be or they both appear to be a very strong light source while being a very dim light source. And it's sort of hard to figure out which one's which here. So what I mean by that is you have this very soft light that has managed to work its way around the window, and only specifically this area. It hasn't painted any of the corners of the walls or anything like that, and it hasn't managed to cast shadows behind the couch, but it is bright enough to shine itself on the wall. At the same time, the area in front of it, you've made the same lighting cast some hard. There was some hard lights that were hanging off the pony, and that makes sense. It's if it's a very intense light, a very bright light, it should have no problem casting its or shining its way all the way to the wall and happily creating a nice defined hard shadow coming off the closest objects, where anything further is getting softer and softer. The part that I'm having problems with is for the lightness aspect of it. If it's a very dim and undefined light, or sorry, a very dim and defined light, what you're going to get is just very soft shadows everywhere, and that's where this area behind the couch would make a lot of sense. And the curves, like the way the book throws a very soft shadow in that, those types of edges would make a lot of sense. So I think in going back through this picture, going over just to refine or double check the edges and confirm your light sources would be very beneficial to you. And try and work out how intense you want the light. In this case, we know it's brighter than whatever the moon is doing, because on every area except for the back of the couch where the moon's most intense, the lamp is winning, or the light is winning. But the moon stops casting its light anywhere past, well, there's this littlest patch on the horse, which I would stick it there, but you aren't having it add its blue light to the candle or to the sides of the candles or anything. So we can tell that at that point it's the intensity is greater. I hope that makes sense.
I think for this kind of light to be shone on the couch and on here, the moon should appear a little bit more blown out, a little bit sort of brighter in the sky, and that kind of stuff. Doesn't need to be much, but just like a little bit. It's like with this these candles, they were very like the shadow was very close to the candles originally. Let me erase my paint over. Yeah, very close on that side. But then if you look on this side, it went all the way to like the edge of the table, kind of sort of thing. So what I've done is I've kind of imagined, okay, if the light is sort of coming down, it's probably going to like hit a similar kind of like distance away from the base of the candles in most directions. So kind of added a little bit of stuff there and a little bit of a warmer light there because it's picking up a little bit more of this like yellow light of the candles and stuff like that. You can see someone adding a little bit of like those sort of things around there and it looks really nice. Yeah, really good job trying to mess around with like different light sources and stuff like that in this picture. Looks good. I think the other thing that sort of stands out to me when I look at this is, let me get a color which isn't going to mess anything. This looks like a hoof. This also looks like a hoof, a very strange misshapen hoof. Because here's like the shoulder. Well, here's what it looks like the shoulder is, and that flows like directly into sort of this pattern on the thing. I forgot what the name for that's called when two things line up and they're not supposed to.
Tangent.
Tangent, yeah. It creates a weird sort of tangent. So what you could do is do something like this sort of brown color, sort of just bring that over a bit, expand that over, so that there isn't sort of as much of a a tangent going directly from here down through here. And then maybe you could have this like very dark sort of shadow. You could have that represented just a little tiny bit more around here, so that it's like showing that this is like something coming up and over and stuff like that. Or even like push it even further and just like bring this whole thing like up and around here kind of sort of area. And something along those lines just sort of like shows off that this isn't like all one hoof. It's interestingly shaped and stuff like that. Good job with the candles. They're very detailed and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting to like look at.
I imagine it'd be very hard to read the book like that. Like I would
Doesn't
turn
look
the
like
book
the
the other
most
way.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I'm laying on my side in bed, I just like have to change the rotation lock on the phone and rotate the phone and all that sort of stuff. And reading like that would not be the most comfortable thing ever.
See, my head went like this could be cute if you had the horse's eyes closed, so as if they were originally like, upright reading the book, but then they dozed off, so the book's still open, the candlelight's still going. They're just asleep on the couch.
Boom. Sleepy. Sleepy, not dead.
Thanks for the clarification.
That's what I'm here for.
Super duper nitpicky and just like another option. I might even like tuck the moon up further in the curtain and not have it be so prominent, just so it kind of plays into the angle, like the very you
Yeah.
know, deep angle you have going into the window, so that way you can just kind of like sell the story like, oh, it's just peeking over there. So we have like the moon rays coming in at a diagonal instead of right here where it feels like, oh, the moon's gonna be blasting in from all visible.
Whoever drew like the red lines around here, I love it. I love that little tucked up thing.
Aw.
Right, shall we move on to our next lovely horse?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just want to say, like, seriously, awesome job for challenging yourself. This is like the first step, but like it's gonna get better, easier. Just have fun with this process. Have fun learning about it. Have fun doing it.
Yeah, and good job taking on the critique that was offered in the different channels and stuff like that. I saw this image being sort of chucked about in the channels and all that, and good that you've taken that stuff on board.
So this is by Monica Suki, and it's a farm girl gets a phone.
Hell yeah.
This is such a cute style.
It's
I just
very
love the
cute.
face.
But AJ doesn't have a hat. How are we supposed to know it's AJ?
And would it be an Apple device?
Because AJ is
Uh,
the only farm girl. We all know.
Well, I mean, Apple Bloom,
And
Granny Smith.
that's not AJ. It's also not
In
AJ.
fact, there was a lot of Apple families that were females there, and they're farmers. Just poking
Anyway, the
holes through
style
your
is
memory
horrible.
here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm being gaslit. All right, let's go. So what you can do, this is an awesome picture. I love it. What you can do is look at adding some directionality to the hooves. So like hooves, instead of just being like ending in like straight up, this sort of stuff. You can have the end of the hoof being like directional and stuff like that. And what that'll do is that can help sort of make it more obvious what direction the hooves are facing in and that sort of stuff. But no stress. It's all up to you.
Mhm.
This is cool. It's fun and cute and nice. Good job with the ears as well. A lot of people miss out on that second ear and wouldn't be able to draw that bow properly and all that sort of stuff. Good picture.
I would totally read like a Tumblr blog done in this style.
I think
I think it would benefit like a very simplistic digital art coloring.
I think she has Twitter open. That's why she's angry.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, good proportions with everything around the picture and all that sort of stuff. I don't think we have too much to say in terms of notes because it's just a good picture.
Yeah.
I guess the notes I would have to say is ask us questions next time. Like what it is you want to do differently? What you were unhappy about? Why did you want to ask for critique in the first place? What directions do you want to go with your art?
Mm.
These kind of questions can be super helpful to help us help you kind of a situation so we don't steer you the wrong way or give you, advice that probably wouldn't apply to you, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Help you, help us all. As Portal says.
I forgot that was the line. Also, I totally thought that I might have messed up my my Galaxy Tablet's S Pen, but I sort of just scraped around the edge, and it seems to be totally fine. So disaster averted.
Really?
I spilled tea on it earlier this morning when I was hanging out with the others.
Oh no.
I think
I was like, why is my pen like dragging after I let go of it? It's really hard to pick colors. It's really hard to paint anything. Like, oh no, did I mess it up with the tea?
I think some of what we're doing is also just like exaggerating shapes. Like this
Uh-huh.
tail, the end of this tail bit here, it's just like exaggerating some of that, like some of those curves, and
Yeah,
you see
that
it.
can be very helpful, especially in developing a style, because you can sort of push things to extremes and decide like, actually, no, I don't want this to be so big, but at least bigger than it was before, and it can help you to define the shapes that you want to be defined and how you want them
Yeah,
defined. So
you can see it with like the back and this little sort of bit of a curve here, and the curves of the sort of
hmm
the sort of thighs and that sort of stuff. Don't be afraid to mess around and exaggerate and sort of push things too far because you can always pull things back later.
hmm
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Hell yeah, good picture.
All right.
Love it. Please do more.
Our last picture submitted today is by Sonadal Fangirl. Wait. Sonadal Fangirl, I guess. 99. My personal take on Fluttershy, I imagine her as skinnier and tall due to her diet and her career in taking care of animals. I forgot to add the cutie mark and realized that after I merged the layer. Oops. I am open to critique and would love to improve.
Love to hear
Don't
that
merge the
attitude.
layers. Use your layers.
Done. I've added the cutie mark. No need
Brilliant.
to thank me. Yep. Looks perfect. Yeah, good job. Got a
I think
nice sort of.
something that sticks out
Very
to me
cute.
is even if you want her to have much longer legs, if you actually look at a horse's leg, um they don't quite pop out that far. You could actually accomplish a much longer leg by having it come down like this and really
Mm,
exaggerate the skinny feel of the leg there. And it also feels a little bit more natural to a pony standing per se. And I think it's whenever someone wants to make a design of an MLP pony that is definitely taller and sometimes skinnier, like I recommend looking at horses. They may be more barrel chested and large there, but their legs very tall, very skinny. I think it's a great reference to kind of pull MLP pony, which is based on horses, into changing up that style and anatomy to fit more of a long skinny approach, since MLP ponies are basically designed to be little fluffy round marshmallows of softness and curves.
hmm
yep. Absolutely. You can see that in G5 as well in the Gen 5 ponies. They like have this hock lowered. Look at all these amazing horse legs, and then my broken horse leg over here. Great.
Ah, it's fun.
Fun to mess about with like legs and posing
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff. On the hooves, something that can be fun with this like fuzzy sort of stuff is to have it kind of go down. So it starts off up here and then it sort of goes down. And what that does is that helps sort of show off where the front of the hoof is versus sort of where the back of it is, kind of thing. So it can add some fun directionality. You can see like roughly same kind of thing expressed over here. Yeah, and down there.
Yeah, that's how I do them anyway. There's all sorts of ways to do it. Oops, that was me trying to move the canvas.
All right. Anyone else have any other comments? Any other suggestions?
Not sure if there's anything other than what's been said already.
I mean, it's really
So
fun
making the
stuff.
body,
Good
moving the
picture.
body circles around a little bit, making it a bit leaner, moving the hock down. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, if you want to mess around with proportions, try looking at some different artists. There is an artist called Len Sketchbook, and they do some really interesting tall ponies. So if you want to get some look at some proportions and all that sort of stuff, look at them. And honestly, just look at real animals. Look at
Mhm.
horses.
It
horse-
might be a good reference to, and again, this goes back to exaggerations as we talked about in the previous picture. But it might be interesting to look at deer, baby deer especially, if you want to get that sort of like leanness in, because like just draw some deer because they're super like lanky and twiggly, and like it'll help you to get that idea of like a skinny, long-legged like creature of a very similar like anatomical style, and then you can sort of dial it back a bit to combine more with what you've got now. So you obviously don't need to be full deer unless you specifically want to draw a deer Fluttershy, which is very cute. But it
And look
helps
at
you to get
this.
the understanding of those exaggerations, so that you get the extremes down, and then you can find the place where you want to settle.
Yeah, and look at this cute picture on that side that's drawn tall and really interestingly.
No face.
All right. Well, if anyone else has any other art, any other questions, now's your chance. Otherwise, we're gonna pack it in for a day, which is bizarre.
Speed run.
Yeah.
Pretty extreme, any percent.
Yep.
As there is no one else in our chat right now that isn't part of this, I think that's going to be a no.
Yeah, is there any? There's 3 people watching up Picarto. I have it open. Do
Yeah, I do
2
too.
others have it? Oh, we're all alone today.
Weird. All right. Well, we're going to call it a day. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.